Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today we are looking at the Tier 7 Pan-Asian destroyer, the Gadjah Mada. And this ship, oh my god, this ship's actually really good. Definitely well worth the grind. Also, I like the horn. Definitely can't wait till they get rid of the Santa Claus, but yeah, very good destroyer. Highly recommend that you get her and you keep her. I'm planning on keeping this ship. We are playing on Loop, playing Domination, and we are bottom tier. There is Iowa, Bismarck, Nelson, New Mexico, Rune, New Orleans, Mogami, Indianapolis, Miyoko, Fletcher, Benson, and a Gadjah Mada. On the enemy team, there's a Missouri, Amagi, Lion, 2 Scharnhorst, Ibuki, New Orleans, Mogami, Indianapolis, Algeria, Fletcher, and a Kagero. And as you can see, we have a Feldiv. That poor New Mexico in this battle. So, Gadjah Mada, why do I say it's a really good ship? I would almost say she's overpowerful. She will struggle, obviously, with being up-tiered, but I think she can handle herself for the most part if she is up-tiered. So our team is pushing out west, and I am pretty much told that I'm kind of by myself, but we'll see. So detection on the Gadjah Mada is 6.1, and her range for her torpedoes is 8 kilometers. And unlike the Fushun, she actually has a decent number of torpedoes. She actually has 5 torpedoes per torpedo tube. Don't know why my mouth decided not to work with me there. So at the moment I am trying to cap the C cap, and we'll see how things work. Our team, well, just take a look at our team. Team's not really pushing into a cap. It does look like we have 2 destroyers starting to push into the B cap, but well, I don't want to spoil, because this is actually a really good game, and maybe you'll understand why I like the Gadjah Mada so much. So her turrets is probably one thing I definitely need to point out. And as you saw there, someone stepped onto the cap. So there is a enemy destroyer on this cap. And this is one good thing the Gadjah Mada can do. She is great at pushing in. And it really comes down to the firing angles on the turrets. As you can see, the third turret can actually do a complete 360. It has no obstruction. And with that, it can actually aim very far forward. And we will be taking advantage with that, especially with NA destroyers, because the nice thing, because you can get all your turrets in play, you don't have to show a lot of broadside, which makes HE very difficult for a enemy destroyer to combat you. Just look at this, look at that. Look at how sharply your guns can actually aim forward. And we are detected, and it is slightly unnerving. It could be a Fletcher, or it could be the Kagero. There is the enemy Kagero, just popped up. Do have to be careful. He might have dropped additional torpedoes, but just look how much shells the Kagero does miss every time he opens up, just because we're able to be fairly narrow. Now the health on the stock version of the Gadjah is only 12,000, so you do have to be a little bit careful. But things aren't going so well. I am concerned we might not win this battle. Yeah, we are taking a lot of damage unless we get a detonation on this poor Kagero. And this right there, I would say this probably ensured this game. That loss of that Kagero ensured the loss, or the win, I guess you could say, of this game. So with that done, we have full control of the C cap. No one on the enemy team is over here on the eastern side. The enemy team have taken A, and they have just now lost their Scharnhorst. So we are definitely in a lead as far as points and caps are concerned. And we'll see how things continue on. Enemy Scharnhorst is kind of staying on the southern tip. Now keep in mind, the Scharnhorst doesn't really have a lot of support. It's just him by himself. Fletcher has opened up a little bit, has attracted his attention, and probably at this time, if I saw Fletcher, just a little bit away from me, I would be a little bit concerned, especially considering it is a Fletcher. And probably one thing I probably should have pointed out, there is the French battleship Lion on the enemy team, which is the tier 8. So it's the upcoming French battleship. So things are going to be interesting. But this Scharnhorst, I don't exactly know what he's doing. Actually, I want to see if I can take a look at that Lion. Look at that. Look at that. French battleship. Super excited for it. Anyway, sorry. I got distracted. Torpedoes are away on the Scharnhorst. And look at this. New Mexico actually gets a kill. Takes out the enemy artillery. So very good job there. Now, going back to the guns of the Gadjah Mada. Gadjah Mada is great for pushing in. Not so good when trying to run away and try to keep distance. Trying to kite is difficult because the front turret doesn't have that good firing angles going backwards. And, ooh, wow, yeah, I think these torpedoes are pretty good on this Scharnhorst. It has taken substantial amount of damage, and unfortunately our torpedoes just died prior to this Missouri running into them, which is unfortunate. But now this is one other good thing about the Gadjah Mada is her guns. Yes, they do have a kind of arcing shell velocity, but they're not the worst thing to actually get shots on. And we get double fires. Look at this, burning down this Scharnhorst fairly quickly. Do switch my attention to the Missouri. Obviously, Missouri is going to pop radar, and we're taking really big steps in the other direction. Right now. Now, I will have to give props right here. This Fletcher, just off to our starboard side, really good job. High props to this Fletcher. He and myself are going to be really good buddies throughout this battle. You'll see him being around us quite a bit. But this is just the start of a beautiful friendship between a Fletcher and a Gadjah Mada. I don't really know where I was going with that. Anyways, with the Missouris radar down, we can actually start pushing back in. Don't exactly know why those battleships decided to come over to sea. Maybe to try to take it, but obviously with a Fletcher and a Gadjah Mada, they're not the best opportunity for them. Now that Scharnhorst actually managed to survive, and at the moment we are nowhere near B. The enemy team could actually push into B. We only have a friendly battleship and us near B at this time, so we're gonna see if we can try to prevent the capture of B. Making my way quickly back over to the B cab as quickly as possible. Now the Gadjah Mada is actually fairly quick. You can see with the engine boost, we can get about 40 knots, which is decent, but without the engine boost, she is a little bit slow. That's probably my only complaint towards her, is just the lack of speed. The rudder shift time, especially considering its stock, is not the greatest, but it is manageable. And I would almost say that even a stock version of the Gadjah Mada is fairly powerful. But once fully upgraded, she's a force to be reckoned with. So smoke screen is up, and this is the nice thing about the Pan-Asian destroyers, is the smoke screen reloads very quickly, so you can get into a good position and smoke up and then just cause harassment. Getting really good damage against the Scharnhorst. Hoping for a fire would be nice right now, even though it is plausible that the damage control for the Scharnhorst is back up and running. Finally get a fire, racking up some fire damage. Does look we are being radared, but I don't think, actually I believe, yes, there is the New Orleans. I believe there is the New Orleans. Oh no, that is one ship I do not want to see, so I'm actually going to try to quickly exit my smoke screen as quickly as possible. And our torpedoes are up, and this New Orleans is sitting fairly broadside to us. But look, just understand that the firing angles on the guns are so nice that it's actually very difficult to hit the Gadjah Mada with relative ease, to be frank. That's one nice thing about it. Oh, this Scharnhorst is just having a bad day. Is going to go down to torpedoes, but it was almost our kill. But unfortunately for us, the Rune does take out the enemy Scharnhorst. Now, torpedoes are inbound towards the New Orleans, and it does look like he does manage to dodge them. Well, that is unfortunate, but we're still alive. His radar is now officially on cooldown, which does mean that we can get into a position to once again attack, because the Gadjah Mada has a smokescreen available, and you have 7 charges of the smokescreen. So, highly recommend going for Superintendent and getting the premium smokescreen, because with this quick reload on the smokescreen and high number of charges is very valuable to have. Though I will admit it's not very often you'll actually manage to use them all. So just be aware, if you do run premium consumables, you probably won't use them all, but it has a much faster cooldown than you normally would have. Enemy Missouri is now pushing in. Our team's actually doing a really good job. And that New Mexico is still alive, which is really nice. Good job there, New Mexico, being in a tier 6 against tier 9s. Doing a pretty fantastic job. Now, the range on the guns is 10.8. It can be a little bit difficult when trying to get shots off on a target very far away. But this New Orleans just came to the wrong part of town, and it really comes down to the guns. High props to the guns. And let's see, can we get rid of this New Orleans? Yes, finally goes down. Now we don't have to worry about a radar incoming. All that's left on the enemy team is a Missouri, a buggy, and I believe also a cruiser. Actually, where is this cruiser? It's a Megami. I have not seen a Megami in this entire battle. Wonder where he is. Anyways, so torpedoes are back up. Amagi is around here somewhere. Probably is going to be pushing up towards B. Hoping to get torpedoes off on this Missouri. And oh, there's the Amagi. So good time to turn in. See if we can get torpedoes off on this Amagi. Torpedoes are away. We do have our friendly Fletcher dropping torpedoes as well. Now it's going to be a race on who is going to get the kill. Who's going to finish off this Amagi. Our torpedoes are actually very decent speed, very hard hitting, and once again you have 5 torpedoes per set, so 10 torpedoes altogether. And this Amagi, even though it has a really good torpedo belt, it's gonna have a bad day, to say the very least. Can we get this kill? Nice, 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 nice. Oh, wow. Devastating strike on the enemy Amagi. And now our smokescreen is up and available. We can begin harassing this Missouri that is going to have a little bit difficult time. But honestly, this battle is almost over with. Oh, as soon as this Missouri goes down, it is going to be end of the battle. And he is just getting focused down by everyone. There we go, got another fire. And once again, the fire chance on the Gadjah Mada is actually very decent. But this Missouri is going to go down. Who's going to get the kill? Can it be us? Nope. So our team earned a victory. We brought home 523,277, 11,449 XP, and 573 free XP. We earned 2 devastating strikes in First Blood. We did 138,974 points of damage, 110 shell hits, 10 torpedo hits, 3 incapacitation, 2 kills, 8 fires, 8 floods, 6 defended base capture, and 1 captured base. Basic speed was 2,478. Substantial amount of damage was done against the Amagi and the Kagero with that devastating strike with a detonation. And then as well as that Scharnhorst did almost 74,000 points against that Scharnhorst. used quite a bit of heals just to get back up. So our high explosive did around 34,517. Torpedoes did a whopping 82,037 points of damage. Fires did around 20,000, and floods did around 1,689. So overall, not a bad game. Very good damaging game. And with that, we are going to go ahead and jump into port. I will see you guys there. All right, everyone, welcome back to the port. And like I said, the Gadjah Mada, it's a very powerful tier 7. I highly recommend this destroyer. Highly recommend this destroyer. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. Survivability, 12,000 when you first have her stock, which is, I mean, decent. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's not the worst. But it's definitely capable, even as a stock destroyer, to deal with any other enemy destroyers. Armor is usual 6 to 16, so nothing too extravagant there. Her guns. This is the main thing I like about her guns, is the fact that the third turret can angle so much that it can actually fire forward, and it does a complete 360. It has no issues with that. Main guns 3, dual 120 millimeters. They are a little bit smaller than compared to some of the other destroyers, usually running 127 to 130 millimeters. So your damage output isn't going to be as high, nor your penetration. So that is one thing you do have to keep in mind. Reload time isn't the greatest, 5 seconds. Definitely nothing compared to any of the USN destroyers, but they're capable. Like I said, they are very capable, and it really comes down to the fact that third turret can face forward, which means you don't have to show a lot of broadside. If any, majority of your time you're going to be almost facing bow in, which is going to make it much more difficult for a enemy destroyer to actually land shells on you and deal damage. Turn times is quick, 14.4 seconds. Dispersion is tight, 90 meters. Max HE shell damage is 1700 with a good 5% chance of 9%. AP damage 2100, pretty nice. I honestly haven't tried it that much against enemy cruisers, but I would assume you should do just fine. Firing range is 10.8 kilometers. And the velocity at range is very similar to a USNDD, 808 meters per second once it leaves a barrel. So you do have to keep in mind, you do have to provide a little bit more of a lead, but overall not a bad ship with its guns. Now let's take a look at the deep sea torpedoes. And these torpedoes, as you did see, are pretty decent. You have two quintuple 533 millimeters. They take a while to reload, 131 seconds, over 2 minutes to get it fully loaded up. Max damage is 14,400. Not the highest damaging, but you do have additional torpedoes compared to, say, the Jinwei or the Fushan. So definitely you have a lot more torps in the water, so you can do a little bit more damage over a majority of your torpedo tubes. Kilometer is 8 kilometers, just like the Fushan. Speed on the torpedoes is 60 knots. You probably could get a little bit faster, but the only major issue would be losing your range. So torpedoes are decent, especially at stock. Moving on to AA guns. Yeah, there's nothing really much to talk about. It's the normal destroyer. Quite lousy, so don't expect to be shooting down a lot of planes with this ship. Max speed is decent, 37.8 knots. A little bit better than most of the IGN destroyers at this tier. Turning stoker radius 590 meters, and this is probably right when I should point out this ship's kind of fat. She feels fat. She doesn't feel very nimble in the water. Her rudder shift time is nice, 4.9 seconds. But at times she can feel a little bit fat whenever playing against other destroyers, especially against, once again, USN destroyers. So turning stoker radius is big, 590 meters. So it does take a little bit of time to get turned around, but overall not too bad. Concealment with captain skill and everything, 6.1 kilometers, which it's definitely the second worst, I believe, compared to any of the other destroyers. I believe Gate is just right below you. Something tells me that. So detection is not the greatest in the world. Detectability by firing in smoke, 2.5 kilometers. Nothing too extravagant there. The normal for most destroyers. As usual, the upgrades are almost very consistent with how I normally run most of my destroyers. As I've always been pointing out, every single time whenever you get a Pan-Asian destroyer, you have a lot of smoke that lasts for, well, deploying the smoke lasts for a very long time. However, the smoke itself does not last that long, but as you can see, the smoke screen is active for 70 seconds. The reload time is 80 seconds. So once that last final puff of smoke screen is down, you have 10 seconds. Once that smoke screen dissipates, you have 10 seconds before your next smoke screen is available to you, which is very, very powerful. Can be very, very fun, and probably very, very aggravating against any ships trying to shoot you in the smoke screen. Moving on to the captain. Not a lot has changed about this captain. He's still currently being worked on. Priority target, expert marksman, last stand per usual, superintendent, and then concealment expert. Probably will get adrenaline rush. It's a nice little skill to have. Basics firing would be very nice to have, as well as demolition expert, just to increase the fire chance. But anyways, this is going to be it for this episode of World of Warships. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zai Jin.